postseason, just like last time we broadcasted. Sorry, not postseason, it's the offseason.
Offseason.
The postseason already happened.
That already happened. Rangers won. They had a huge parade. It's whatever.
Deserved, honestly. It was a really, this is probably, the coolest that the playoffs have been since I got into baseball.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, when we last left off, we went over, what was it?
We just went over the postseason.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's all we did. But for this one, we're going to cover the 25 or so for 25 free agents.
The top.
Actually, a little more than that, but the top
Yeah.
25 in particular.
Yeah.
And we're going to place our bets where they may end up. And who knows? Maybe at the end of it, we'll have a date for when we do our home run derby stream.
Yeah. It is going to be a stream. That I know. I just need to. I need to get like a couple of stuff done on my personal stuff, like for
You're
my
gonna need
Twitch stuff.
you're gonna need to get you're gonna need to get like a dual screen setup.
Dual screen setup.
One showing my Discord stream feed. It's not gonna be in sync whatsoever.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I think that adds to the value of it because of the nature of the nature of the event.
Yeah.
It exists for our torture.
It exists. It exists for our torture and our torture alone.
It brings us agony for the sake of content.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite things about doing when I make content is putting myself through agony. Like for that 100 followers stream that will happen at a certain point. I'm getting that done first. That's first. And
Yeah.
then we're going to do home run derby. And then I'll probably do stuff for Christmas. I don't know.
Okay, so let's dive into it. So obviously, the top free agent this season is Shohei Ohtani, and there's no debate about it.
Yeah.
The only person who even comes close is Yoshinori Yamamoto, but Ohtani is honestly in a league of his own, even with a torn UCL.
Yeah, brother tore his shoulder in half and is still going to get paid a lot of money. He's not going to be able to pitch next year, but he will be able to pitch come 2025. Or most expecting.
Even just his batting talent alone is enough to have him in consideration.
Yeah. MLB.com lists potential fits for Shohei to be the Angels, Dodgers, Giants, and Mets. You could just slide the Angels out of that discussion because I don't think they're gonna try. They're gonna try to keep Ohtani.
I don't think Ohtani is going to go back, and the
No.
reason why I think that is because, and I also don't think he's going to join the Mets. And the reason why I think these things, we can actually already count out the Dodgers. I think I saw an article about how Shohei had already declined the Dodgers' offer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let me see. No, I'm hearing conflicting things actually.
That's what happens in November. We just everybody.
Most recent article rumors expressed affinity for Dodgers, Red Sox, Rangers.
Oh, Red Sox are in that conversation now.
That's strange, but well, moving on. I also think we can count the Mets out because Shohei Ohtani has been pretty vocal that he's not thinking about how much he's getting paid. He wants to be on a team that'll make the playoffs.
He wants to win. He wants to win. And
he wants to be on a good team.
And the Angels don't do that. Haven't
The
done
Angels
that since 2015.
The Angels are so unserious about winning that they're considering trading for Tim Anderson, so.
Yeah, that's. Actually, no, they don't even have to trade him because.
Oh, he's a free agent?
Yeah, the White Sox he wasn't supposed to be a free agent until next season, but the White Sox had a team option and they declined it. For obvious reasons, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like keeping Tim Anderson on would stain the reputation of Southside Chicago.
Yeah. Uh but yeah, Angels and Mets I can't see. This is basically Red Sox I also don't see. I don't know how they got into the conversation, but here we
No
are.
idea. I think like in the toss up between the Dodgers and the Giants, I think that
I think
I think that hmm I wrote all my predictions ahead of time. I'm not sure.
I'm just going to go out and say it. I think the Giants go out and get Otani. I think he signs with the Giants. Because here's the thing about the Giants, they have pretty much the basis for a playoff caliber team. They have the depth. Uh they have, some semblance of pitching. They've got Logan Webb whom
And if
plays
Oracle Park is any indication, they've got the budget.
yeah. So and last offseason, they tried to go out for Judge. They got his brother Arson instead. They tried to they tried and succeeded in getting Carlos Correa, but then also received a bunch of medical reports saying, "Hey, don't
The
fall
sky
back,
the
fall
sky
back."
is like the sky is basically the sky is basically walking on broken legs. And then
Yeah,
the Mets had the same thing happen, so Correa had no choice but to go back to the Twins to continue his career because Minnesota is so desperate they'll take anyone.
yeah. Minnesota also took him
It
for
kind of
a
paid off this year.
yeah. It did pay off for them this year, but back to Otani. Yeah, I think the Giants go out and get him. The
Yeah,
Giants.
that's also what I wrote, and the reason why I think that it's the case is because the Dodgers, well, the Dodgers consistently make the playoffs. They've had a really bad streak of not going anywhere in them. And I think that given the kind of person that Shohei Ohtani has shown himself to be, I think he is the person to go all in on a team that is more likely to make a big splash.
Yeah,
I think that winning isn't the only thing. He wants the publicity of being in a playoff team, and if he joins the Dodgers, people aren't going to pay as much attention to him because of the fact that he's in the Dodgers, a team that makes the playoffs like every year.
he also uh while he'll probably be a superstar on the Dodgers because they've already got fucking Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, also my mic isn't like echoing, is it?
A tiny bit, but it should be fine.
Okay. Uh, but yeah, like, let me mess with the sensitivity really quick.
But yeah,
But
the
yeah, the
Dodger,
Dodgers already have a lot of excellent players.
yeah, and while he would be a superstar for the Dodgers, he would definitely 100% without a doubt be the best player on the Giants next to like probably Logan Webb, who just had a Cy Young caliber season for the Giants. He was a Cy Young finalist actually.
So yeah,
Uh,
like if the Giants get Otani, there's a non-zero chance they will be in the wild card at least.
at least, yeah, because they were close this year. They just ran out of steam and didn't really have the superstar power to go far this
It didn't
year.
help that the rest of the NL while that the D-backs popped off really hard while no one was looking.
Yeah, they kind of just
Like I think a lot of people were quick to write off the D-backs because they're the D-backs. But between Carroll, Marte,
yeah.
Even Pham was doing better in the D-backs than he did in the Mets.
Yeah. So like while the NL West probably wouldn't be the best place to go, I'm sure like with the Giants, if they end up getting that superstar talent, even if it isn't Otani, which I think it will be, but even if it isn't Otani, if they even just get like anyone else on this list, uh, you know, they'll pretty much be set.
Yeah. Uh, On to the number two, Yoshinobu Namamoto, another another Japanese star. He won the Pacific League MVP in the Sawamura Award in Japan,
Which
which
is
is their Cy Young,
yeah,
basically.
it's their Cy Young. He
So
also
this is a Cy Young winner. This guy has won two Cy Youngs actually in the
yeah,
past 2 years, and the three triple crowns in the past three.
yeah,
Needless to say, this is a guy who is a great fit for the big leagues.
yeah. Uh he's basically set for a big league career. It's just where he'll go that
Yeah,
everyone's like, which MLB lists the Dodgers, Mets, and Red Sox.
my guess is with the Mets. The big reason my guess is with the Mets is because the Mets had like a theoretically god tier pitching lineup that did nothing and then fell apart as half of them were traded away.
Yeah,
And one of them got to see the World Series, I think. Which was there.
yeah, he was there.
Yeah, so it ended up much better for Scherzer. It also technically ended up better for Verlander, but he didn't really do anything.
Yeah, he was better for the Astros, but he didn't make it to the World Series or win it, so it doesn't really
He's
matter.
Yeah, it's not like a debate that Verlander's at the end of his career.
Yeah,
I'm surprised if he plays. I'll be surprised if he plays another year of baseball.
I feel like he's going to, but
He's
after.
prob he's probably gonna have a cope season like Wayno did.
Yeah, he's probably gonna have a cope season, probably to get some final like accolades before he rides off into the sunset.
Who knows? Maybe if the Astros have any of the solidarity the Cards do, they'll let him bat for a few games for a fun like little joke like the Cardinals did.
Yeah,
To be fair, it looked like Wayno had some of the most fun like in his entire career when he was batting. He
yeah,
was not good,
but
but it was the end of a terrible season. You might as well make some light of it.
yeah,
But yeah, I think that Yamamoto will end up with the Mets because the Mets have the wallet and the need for good players.
yeah. The Mets, uh, during the deadline, chose to sell. They sold off their two ancient pitchers for younger hitters whom could be beneficial for future runs. So bringing in Yamamoto for in terms of the Mets would actually probably be a good idea because he's the opposite of ancient.
And there'll be a new manager this time because Showalter retired, didn't he?
I don't think he retired. I think he just
He
stepped
delegated.
away.
He like delegated the role of choosing players
Yeah, he
to someone
delegated.
else.
Yeah. So Yamamoto, while I do feel like the Mets could go after him, actually I don't think anyone else would be willing to. Maybe
I think the Red Sox could do it, but they couldn't afford it.
I think they could do it and they could afford it. It's just the it's just the fact of will Yamamoto want to go there? Because this exact same thing happened with Kodai Senga last year. The Red Sox offered him a contract. He went to the Mets because he wasn't convinced in Boston's willingness to win. If you remember that meme.
It has not aged well, to be honest.
Nah, it actually has not aged that well.
Moving on to so you think Yamamoto will end up in the Mets too?
Yeah, I can't. I mostly just can't think of anyone else he could go
Yeah, in the
to.
top two, we have a pretty firm consensus.
All right, next up
'Cause I
is
agree I agree Otani's going to be in the Giants. I agree Yamamoto's going to be in the Mets. So next up is the Padres pitcher Blake Snell.
the Cy Young winner as well. We can add that to his resume. This article we're looking at is from earlier this month, but like I think yesterday he was announced as the Cy Young, the NL Cy Young. So add that to
Which
his
is
resume.
impressive because I heard that that he didn't have the best year this year.
He had a good year. He had a really good year. He was
I guess
probably
I guess the problem is that he was in the Padres, the 2023 Padres.
yeah, the 2023 Padres. He was obviously uh the best player uh on the Padres this year. But yeah.
The Padres just didn't have it in them this year. Like it feels odd because there's so many players that are great in the Padres, like Soto, Machado.
I've been hearing rumors that they might trade Soto this off season.
Mm,
I don't necessarily agree with it. The only reason I would agree with it is because he's going to cost a lot and the Padres already have so much money invested
yeah.
in players.
So the MLB thinks that Snell will end up either in the Cardinals, Dodgers, or he'll go back to the Padres.
I don't think he's gonna go back to the Padres. If what people are saying about the Padres is true, and they're trying to cut down on costs, I do not think
No,
he is going to the Padres.
I don't think he's going to the Dodgers either, because I don't think the Dodgers are going to be spending that much on pitchers this year. Uh,
I feel
I
like
think.
I feel like they have to though, because last off season or last or during the postseason, that was like the main thing that bit him in the ass was their starting
That's a fair
pitching.
point. I think though that there's another team that wants pitchers more and will probably reach harder to get good ones, and that is the Cardinals.
Yeah,
I think that Snell would be a great fit for the Cardinals because bad starting pitching slowed down the Orioles. It destroyed the Cardinals.
yeah,
And I think that not only would Blake Snell be a good fit for the team, he would genuinely be the wisest decision that Marmol and Mo could make when it comes to handling these free agents. The Cardinals can't rely on their prospects for everything.
yeah.
It's not like the Cardinals have bad prospects that like Walker was amazing this year. Our pitchers were mixed.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you that Blake Snell will probably end up on the Cardinals. However, I'm going to take back what I said about Yamamoto going to the Mets. I think he might actually I'm going to go with a wild I'm going to go with a wild card here. I'm going to pick the Orioles to go for Yamamoto.
That's crazy. You're gonna are you gonna have like a list up in the final edit? You like X out Mets and then just put the Orioles logo right next to it.
I could do that.
I
It would
could see
probably
it though because it did hold back the Orioles from winning the division series. The Rangers have insane pitching right now.
yeah, their pitching during the postseason was honestly insane. It wasn't their strong suit, but it was a stronger bit in their run.
Yeah, and against the other competing teams, it ended up being a World Series winning combination.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm putting Yamamoto on the Orioles, but I'll agree with you that Snell will probably most likely go to the Cardinals. All right, and then
Next
next
up, we've
we
got Cody Bellinger, who I'm admittedly not too familiar with. He's a, let's see, what team is he on?
he was on the Cubs last year.
Oh,
He was a free agent last year. He had a cup because he used to be on the Dodgers. He had like a 2019 NL MVP uh type type season, but in
yeah.
2021 and 2022 he just didn't live up to that same potential and had to sign a 1-year deal with the Cubs to basically try and get his footing back up so that he could sign a bigger contract this offseason.
Hmm.
That ended up working. He he was probably one of the brightest spots on that Cubs team that seemed like everything was like going back together until September.
Yeah. The potential fits for Cody Bellinger that the MLB website lists are the Cubs trying to get him back, the Giants, and the Yankees.
I could see the Cubs trying to get him back. I could see it.
It makes a lot of sense. It would be the right decision for the Cubs to make, but I think there is another team that will reach harder for him, and that I think that it's the Yankees. I think he'll go to the Yankees because they need to phase out of Rizzo.
Yeah, and it does say he does play a bit of first base. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think he's a good, viable first baseman to replace Anthony Rizzo if the Yankees are looking to do that, which I think they should,
yeah,
because Rizzo has fallen off and he's only going to get worse.
yeah. I mean, he did have a concussion that nobody knew about for like months, but yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like with Bellinger, I don't think he's going to go to the Yankees. I hope he doesn't go to the Yankees because I want them to continue to suck. I'm thinking he's
well,
either. I'm gonna commit Sudoku on myself for this, but I think he's either gonna go back to the Cubs or he's gonna sign with the Giants.
fair enough.
I feel like the Giants, if even either with either if they get Otani or not, they might feel like, oh, we could also go ahead and grab Bellinger too and see what he's all about.
That would be a pretty insane combination, especially because I'm pretty sure some of the free agents that, well, some of the people that are free agents now are Giants players, like Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to eat this carrot. Uh, Next up, we've got Phillies right-hand pitcher Aaron Nola.
Yeah, so Nola had a bit of a weird season. He came off of a honestly pretty spectacular postseason and then just never lived up to that in the regular season.
Hmm?
He had a 3.23 ERA, which was fine. It was good. Oh wait, no, that was
That was back in 2020.
yeah, that was back in 2020.
I misread it too, but
But I
his
will
performance in
say,
the postseason was good.
yeah, his performance of the postseason was good. He had a 0.96 ERA in his first 3 starts.
Now, the teams that they list as potential fits are the Cardinals, again the Giants, and the Phillies. I don't think the Cardinals will reach for Nola if they're going for Snell, like my prediction says. I don't think they could afford both. And I don't know about him going to the Giants. I think that the Phillies are going to try to keep Nola as much as they can.
They're gonna. I think, and this is gonna sound like absolute fucking copium. I think he's gonna stay in the state of Pennsylvania.
Do you think he's gonna go to the Pirates?
Yes. Here's my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. All right.
All right, I'm listening.
We have a lot of young pitchers, some of them better than others. We've been trying to uh we've been basically for a while just grabbing these 1 year contracts for very older pitchers to try to, you know, mentor these young pitchers. But how is a 1 year pitcher gonna mentor these younger pitchers when we're just gonna trade them off to God knows where for more young players regardless.
Probably the Cardinals.
So
Knowing
my
that for some reason a lot of NL Central players tend to get passed around
yeah.
like the Tone bicycle.
So my thinking here is, especially because we're close. I feel it. We're close. We're close to becoming. The core's building up. You know, with our prospects, we're only gonna get better. You know, and our pitching does not look too strong. We've got Keller, which is good. We've got Oviedo, which is good. We've got Priester, which is we're gonna get Brubaker back, which could be fine. But and then we have like a missing slot, and people are saying, "Oh, well, Paul Skeens, the #1 overall pick from the 2023 draft, he could make his way up through spring training, end up on the starting rotation opening day, and then no.
That sounds like Cope, and that sounds like pushing him too far.
We're we we're gonna start him in AA. We're gonna bring in Aaron Nola.
I think that while Nola is unlikely, it would be a good decision for the Pirates.
It is
And
most likely very unlikely. I'm just sucking on the copium right now, and I'm using logic to pretend like I'm smart.
yeah, I understand where you're coming from, though. Next up, we got Josh Hader, another Padres pitcher that is a free agent and unlikely to go back to his team.
MLB doesn't think so either. He's a closer, which I think there are a few teams who could use a closer.
Yeah, yeah, he's a closer, and he is a really good closer.
He is very, very good. It's just
He
the
ended
Padres.
the last season with a 1.28 ERA. The problem is that he was on the Padres, like you said.
Yeah, the problem is he was on the Padres. The fits that the people over at MLB.com have are the Angels, the Phillies, and the Rangers. Honest to God, I think he could probably go to the Phillies. I don't know how much more money the Phillies can bleed into their players, especially after that big ass Trey Turner contract they gave him last year.
I think. Well, here's what I think. I think that. I think that with Shotani not returning to the Angels, since that's incredibly unlikely to happen, they're going to have a Shohei Ohtani-sized hole in their pitching and batting lineup. And I think that Hader, while Shohei is a starter, not a reliever, I still think that Hader would be a decent fit on the Angels.
So you're thinking he's going to the Angels?
Yeah. He's not going to make the Angels into a playoff contender team, but he could help to staunch the bleeding that the Angels are going to be going through with the absence of one of their best, well, with their easily best player other than Mike Trout.
Yeah. It seems like Hater could potentially help out with the bleeding for the Angels. The only wrench I can see that I can throw into your logic here is, will he ever get the opportunity to start to go into games since he's a closer?
Makes sense.
But yeah, I think he's gonna go to the Phillies, go from a playoff team that ended up being bad to a playoff team that most likely won't end up being bad.
Yeah, the Phillies still have a lot of steam left in them, especially because they made the World Series last year, and they made the Conference Series this year. The only thing that stopped it from being Rangers versus Phillies is that the D-backs were bottled lightning this year.
Yeah. So
The
yeah,
Phillies have a pretty clear plan to make it into the playoffs yet again,
I think that
and maybe Hader could be part of that plan.
maybe Hader could be part of that plan. Maybe bringing back Nola will make it a part of that plan. I hope he doesn't go back to Philly. I hope he just goes on west. But again, that's just me with a heavy amount of copium. All right, next up we've got Sonny Gray.
This is another. This was a Cy Young contender. I don't think he actually got the Cy Young,
Yeah, I don't. No, he didn't. The Cy
but
Young went to Garrett Cole of the Yankees.
yeah, he does. However, he has, however, had a really good run with the Twins, a 2.90 ERA since the start of 22, and then in 23 he pitched to a 2.79 ERA. So he's good and he's getting better. And the potential fits they have are the Braves? Question mark. The Cardinals and the Twins. And I see pitching needy clubs, and the first thing I think of is St. Louis. I don't think that Snell would completely drain the Cardinals' wallet, so I think that they could potentially get Snell and Sonny Gray at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why the Braves are on here. They don't need starting pitching, I don't think. As far as I know, they do not need it. But I'm going to contest your
Or was that you cut out on my end?
uh I I said I don't know what I was just talking about how I don't know why the Braves are on
Oh, I think
here.
my internet might be shitting itself.
Ruh-roh.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You were
All right.
saying?
Yeah, the I think the Braves, I don't know why the Braves are on here as potential fits. As far as I know, they don't need starting pitching.
The Twins might want to get them back, but I don't think the Twins can afford it.
I think they're gonna get him back.
That's a fair bet.
Cuz if you're
Speaking
the
of Cardinals, oh, you go on?
cuz if I were the Twins, I would be stupid to let my Cy Young caliber pitcher leave. To be fair, for any of these Cy Young caliber pitchers that we've said would be leaving, I just think more so with the Twins, especially because they seem to finally be putting it all together.
Yeah, this year they made the playoffs, and that hasn't happened for a good while.
They've also won a playoff game, which hasn't happened in an eternity.
Yeah, So overall, like the Twins have a lot of momentum, and they probably want to keep that momentum. They want to stay their course.
Yeah.
Mind you, they're an AL Central team, meaning that meaning that they got in because they couldn't not lose.
Yeah, but
But they still made quite a splash, choking the Blue Jays into oblivion,
yeah.
putting them in the same kind of position that the Mariners were in. In
Yeah.
fact, exactly the same, because both teams died to the Astros.
Both teams died to the Astros in the divisional round. The Twins, give them credit. They did get a win against the Astros.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the Astros are licking their wounds over that still, given the Astros fans
Yeah.
are have a proclivity for coping.
God, they
Speaking
gotta
of
be.
coping, speaking of players that used to be Cardinals, let's talk about Jordan Montgomery.
Jordan Montgomery. He was the Cardinals' best pitcher this year, so they
He
traded
was.
him for I don't even remember what they traded him for, but they traded him to the Rangers, where he
It wasn't
became
fucking worth it. It was
what
worth it for the Rangers.
it was worth it for the Rangers, not so much for the Cardinals. But
People didn't talk about Montgomery as much as the Scherzer acquisition, but Montgomery was just as important, if not more.
I would argue he was more important because at first all Scherzer really did in the postseason was you know be like he kind of like brought the momentum down when he first came back in the ALCS because his first start back he gave up like so many fucking runs.
This fucking old man momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Huh,
Montgomery.
carrots go pretty well with coffee.
Huh,
Sorry, I'm just munching on carrots because I found a healthier kind of snack.
nice. But yeah, Montgomery was a huge part of that Rangers postseason run, and probably one of the main reasons why they ended up winning, because he was just that good in the postseason. And the potential fits for Montgomery, which I think is funny, are either he goes back to the Cardinals, he goes back to the Rangers, or he just throws his hands up and says "fuck it" and go to the Cubs.
No, I don't think that he's going to either of those NL Central teams. I don't see why he would want to go back to the Cardinals, given that he carried that team on his back.
Yeah. So you think he's going back to the Rangers, or you think he's going somewhere else?
I think he's going back to the Rangers because I think the Rangers would be stupid not to do everything in their power to keep him. They need to bottle his lightning, or else they're not going to, or else I don't think the Rangers will make as big of a splash as they did this year.
That is a fair point. I'm gonna go with another lob to the end zone. I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Oh yeah?
I feel like even with Otani's not gonna be able to pitch next year, so that doesn't fix the gaping starting pitching hole that the Giants have. Really, they have Logan Webb, and that's it for in terms of starters. So
Oh yeah, they are going to need starters, and Montgomery was the best starter the Cardinals had, and currently the best starter the Rangers have.
yeah, so why not bring him in and have
I
him
can see the logic.
help out Webb a little bit, and then in 2025 you get a three-headed monster in Otani, Webb, and Montgomery.
Oh god, that's scary to think about.
Exactly. See the storylines. They build themselves. Or rather,
God,
I can build them. I just sometimes wish teams would actually go through with it.
you make a convincing point, but I think pragmatically speaking, the Rangers are gonna try to keep him.
Yeah, that's fair.
On to the next player, JD Martinez, a designated hitter for the Dodgers. He is 35 years old, so he's getting up there. But he, but let me see here. Last year was this year was the first year as with the Dodgers. He batted a 271 average, which isn't bad, and he slugged 33 home runs. So he hit stingers.
Yeah.
I
Martin
think that JD Martinez isn't going to be as huge of a candidate as, say, Ohtani or any of the other batters that we've gone over so far. Like, his place in ninth is for a reason.
Yeah. Uh Potential
But I
fits.
think that I think that he is a good candidate for any team looking for batting talents. And sorry, go over the fits. Sorry.
No, it's fine. The fits they have are he either goes to the Angels or Mets or he goes back to the Dodgers. I'm gonna ignore all of those and I'm gonna continue on with storylines, alright? Who loves
Okay.
nothing more than a good storyline? And how good of a storyline would it be if JD Martinez went back to the Diamondbacks?
You know, that's a fair point. The Diamondbacks are a really good team now.
They are an extremely good team. They haven't really found anyone to completely fill that designated hitter's spot. They've kind of just been, rotating around it with a couple of guys. So,
Yeah,
bring
and I think like the best DH they have right now is fucking Tommy Pham.
either Tommy Pham or Lourdes Gurriel. Depends on, because again, they like to rotate it. So,
Gurriel being a free agent.
oh, is he a free agent?
Yeah,
Oh, then
Gurriel
this just,
Jr.
well, then this just makes even more sense.
I forgot that Martinez was in the D-back, so you know what? I was gonna originally guess that he was gonna stay in the Dodgers, but I think that the D-backs narrative is sufficiently persuasive.
Yeah, because, like, he goes back. Oh, Gurriel is a free agent, huh?
Yep.
Well, that just. Well, again, that just makes my point even more valid. Bring in Martinez. Bring in
I think it
Martinez.
would be wise for the D-backs to invest in an upgrade,
Yeah,
which Martinez would be.
it would be. Plus, you got all the feels from that 2017 season where they went all the way to the playoffs. Or when they last made it to the playoffs before this year.
Yeah, I think that now is a great time for Martinez to return to the D-backs.
He could make a return. Could either be, his farewell season or just a hey, hi, I'm back.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be a swan song. I don't know how old. I don't know what the. I know for pitchers, when you turn 40, you're up there. I don't know what the cutoff point is for batters. I know it's lower.
I feel like he's getting there. Actually, yeah, he's getting there because I think Miguel Cabrera was like around his early 40s. Or rather, hold on, let me look this up. Let me look. Miguel Cabrera age. He is 40 years old, so yeah. Pujols was 42 when he retired, so
Okay.
around the same place for batters if you're good enough and can sustain that kind of career.
Yeah, and Pools definitely could. There's a reason they called him the Machine.
So while Martinez is definitely way past his prime, I feel like bringing him in could still be a viable strategy for the Diamondbacks moving forward.
Yeah, you get the D-backs back in the playoffs, and maybe, who knows, maybe this time they'll win the NLCS.
They did win the NLCS. You mean the World Series?
Oh, yeah, maybe this time they will win a World Series.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Matt Chapman, who was the third baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes, Matt Chapman. Uh, According to the stats, he's fallen off pretty considerably since his prime, which was about 4 years ago.
when he was when he was on the Athletics, oof. Imagine,
Yeah,
imagine leaving Oakland and then somehow getting worse.
no kidding. Yeah. Now he's. Let's see.
I think he's still
His
good.
batting average did climb, though, if I'm looking correctly. Yeah. Wait. No. Yeah. Okay. It did. His
Uh,
average did climb, and the last time that he performed this good was in 2019.
on the Athletics.
Yeah, on the Athletics. So one you could simply reason that he has had a rough transition to the Blue Jays management, but who knows?
I'm
I
pretty
don't really know because I don't pay that much attention to the AL East.
I'm pretty sure cuz I've seen Chapman play. I'm pretty sure he's like not really considered a top hitter anyway. It's more of his defense that makes him elite.
Yep. Yeah, this fielding.
Yeah.
So what would we be looking at? Looking for like what would be looking what? Sorry. What would we be looking for? When we're trying to measure a batter's defense again?
I don't remember.
Hmm. Would it be like between stolen bases? He only stole four, so he's not a base stealer by any means.
I think it would be under like uh FIP or something.
Let's see. FIP?
Yeah. There might be a
I
dub
can't seem to find that.
there might be a W hidden in there as well for some reason. I don't know. I can't I can't for the life of me remember how you how you measure defensive stats.
Hmm.
How I measure how a player is a good defender is I just see them play defense.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Chapman's not really in the right league or division for me to pay attention. Either way, MLB's fits for him. They think he's either going to go back to the Blue Jays, he's going to go to the Dodgers. I'm just going to write that one off, and the Yankees. Now, I could see him. Yeah, apparently that's what I wrote because like I said, I wrote all my guesses ahead of time, and I predicted that he'd go to the Yankees.
I think he's either gonna go back to the Blue Jays or who's a who's who needs a third baseman at the moment? Who needs a quality third baseman? I can't think of any teams off the top of my head because a lot of the teams that you're like okay, they're like a maybe the Giants. No, no, not the Giants because I think they have a younger guy in there, one of their top prospects in there. Yeah, I think he's just gonna go back to the Blue Jays.
Both are ideas that the MLB agrees with.
Yeah.
So I think we can leave it at that because there's not really a whole lot to be said about Matt Chapman.
All right.
Next up, we got Jorge Soler.
Jorge Soler. He was World Series MVP when he won it with the Braves, and then he went to free agency, signed with the Marlins. Didn't do well 2022, did better 2023.
Apparently, he's opting out of the remaining $9 million of his $36 million contract.
Dang, really?
So he must not be satisfied with his position in the Marlins.
He's either not satisfied with his position in the Marlins or he wants more money.
Yeah. The potential fits that the MLB lists are either the Marlins taking him back, which I don't see happening, the Cubs, and the Orioles. Let's see, what did I write? The prediction that I wrote is the Cubs, and the reason why I wrote that is probably because the Cubs have a lot of players going into free agency.
Mm.
And I think at least one of them is an outfielder.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And I think that the Cubs would probably be interested in Soler because he would probably be an upgrade for their lineup. I don't want it to happen, but it's what I think is likely to happen.
I'm gonna send him over to another NL Central team. It's probably one you
Oh,
wouldn't. It's probably one you wouldn't expect, but I think it would be a good fit. Mostly because I don't think
Milwaukee?
Milwaukee maybe, but I was more going towards the
Oh, Cincy.
Reds. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
I don't think at the moment they have a like a they definitely don't have that good of an outfield. That I can determine. They don't have that much outfield talent. Most of their talent is in the infield.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, and I don't think they have a DH. No, they definitely don't have a DH because they just sent Votto packing.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know what? I agree with you there. Uh,
So I think
I think yeah, maybe the Reds would be very interested in him.
I feel like he'd either go to the Reds or the Brewers could poach him from the Cubs as a bit of revenge for the Cubs poaching their manager.
Could be, could be. Uh, Next up we got Eduardo Rodriguez, a left-hand pitcher. He is a Tigers player,
He opted out of his
and
final 3 years of his contract with the Tigers.
which means that he is turning away $49 million to be on a different team.
To be fair, he was good, and I feel like he could get a really big contract on a new team.
Yes,
What
I agree with that.
what that team may be? Well, according to MLB, they think either the Orioles, Reds, or Tigers could grab him. I agree with the
I don't think the
Orioles.
Tigers are getting him back.
Yeah, I don't think the Tigers are getting him back. I agree with the Orioles and Reds, and I think I'll just say it's.
I think it's the Orioles.
You think the Orioles will get him?
That's what I think. Do you think it's the Reds?
I I think I'm gonna have to go with the Reds because I already said that the Orioles would get Yamamoto. I don't think
Oh
they'd be
yeah,
able,
that makes sense.
and I don't think you know the
They shouldn't do
Orioles.
both.
Yeah, they shouldn't do both. That's my thinking. They should not do both. I think the Orioles
Yeah,
should.
because in my universe, Yamamoto goes to the Mets. The Rodriguez is the next best thing for the Orioles.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we've got Jung Hoo Lee, whom was a superstar over in the Korea leagues.
So this will be his debut, whatever team he ends up in.
Yeah, he is 25 years old, so you know His prime is
He's
coming.
he's at a ripe age.
He's at a ripe age to come in. Maybe save a potential team from going down in a downward spiral. Okay. I'm
Batting
gonna.
average is fucking 429.
Yeah, he's kind of insane. All right,
Like this guy is, yeah, this guy's nuts.
this guy's fucking nuts, and I can't wait to see him play. Potential fits for him are the Giants, Mariners, and Yankees. What do you think, Scoom?
Well, let me think here because the answer that I wrote is the Mariners, and the reason why that is admittedly because a lot of players from Japan or Korea, in general, teams that play on the other side of the Pacific end up in the Mariners one way or another.
That's fair. That's fair. However, I'm gonna
And I think
rate.
the Mariners could use him.
However, I'm gonna raise the stakes a bit. You want to know a team who has a pretty glaring spot that needs to be filled at center field?
Which one?
A team that has three rivers, is full of bridges, and it's the
Pittsburgh?
Pirates. It's the Pirates. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The Pirates do also have a lot of Korean players already.
Well, they did. Wait, no, they still do.
Oh, right.
They still
Yeah,
do.
Bay's still in.
Yeah, Bay's still there. Bay is still there.
They trade Manchoy?
Yeah, they traded G-Man Choi along with Rich Hill to the Padres, and that did not help the Padres one bit. So I feel like even if the prospects don't do much, we kind of fucked the Padres, even though they were already bad. So yeah, I feel good about myself with that trade. But yeah, Jung-Hoo Lee, go to the Pirates, please, for the love of God. Give him one of the mass contracts that you've been starting to give players all of a sudden.
Alright, next up we got Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And when I wrote my predictions, I will say up front, when I wrote my predictions, I wrote that he would go back to the Diamondbacks, but I think different now.
Yeah, Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
So
I
this
think
season he got 24 home runs, which is not bad, nothing to sneeze at.
yeah, I think he's because the Red Sox have been mentioned a lot in this list, so I'm thinking they're gonna go for somebody. They're gonna end up with Lourdes Gurriel.
Yeah, that checks out. I don't think the Yankees really need defense. Like, Aaron Judge is not only a great hitter, but he's also great on the field. Like, he's got legs. He can fucking run. So I don't think that any of the teams they've listed, given what I know and what you have told me, are viable. And I think that this is probably the best player that the Red Sox are going to get.
Yeah. All right, next up we've got Shoto Imanaga. Another
Shota Imanaga, left-hand pitcher.
another pitcher from Japan. Obviously not as good as Yamamoto, but still up there, I'd say. Still a piece some teams could go out and grab. Potential fits for Imanaga would be the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Mariners. I haven't said that the Dodgers are gonna get a single free agent right at this moment, so I think Imanaga might go to the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's what I wrote. So I don't see how it would go anywhere else.
Yeah.
He's got a two. He ended last year. Well, he ended the World Baseball Classic. Rather, he was the starter during the World Baseball Classic in the gold medal game, and he went 2.66 ERA this year for Yokohama, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got practice against a bunch of major league players already because the Yokohama Bay Stars, where a bunch of MLB losers go when they're washed up.
Yeah.
Imanaga himself is 30, so he's not going to be pitching for a super long time either.
I think he's gonna get a deal similar to what Senga got last year,
Yeah, I could see it.
about 5 years. Next up, we've got Teoscar Hernandez. We're running a bit low on time, so I kind of think we should just speed through the rest of these.
All right. We don't have to go into too much detail about the rest then.
Yeah. Teoscar
So what I wrote for
Hernandez.
Hernandez, what I wrote was the Brewers. I don't remember why I wrote that, but
I feel like he could go to the Brewers.
it's one of the teams the MLB thinks he could be a fit in.
I feel like he'll either go to the Brewers or go back to the Mariners. So
I think one thing that was demonstrated during the wild card was that the Brewers need better defense
yeah,
if they want to be a playoff contender team and not just like
and
one of
not
the
just
lame
like
duck options from the Central.
yeah. All right, next up we've got Reese Hoskins, Pirates.
I I wrote Padres. Giolito, I wrote Cardinals. I think
Giolito.
that he is another pitcher that the Cardinals will want to reach for.
Yeah, I feel like he'd also go to the Cardinals. Uh, just so that uh the Cardinals can pull through with that 2 to 3 starter proposal that they said before
Before the incident,
before the incident. Yeah.
we have
Yar
we have 6 starting
we
pitchers.
have 6 starting pitchers. Yario Rodriguez. I'm not really sure where he played. Oh, he played in
I say
Japan.
Padres.
He played in Japan. That's where he went to. You said Padres. I mm, I think I
I think
think
he's a apt replacement for Hader and Snell.
I think he might go to the Yankees, honestly.
That's also a fair bet because the Yankees do have pitchers in free agency, including my favorite loser, Luis Severino.
I think we're gonna get to him. Maybe no.
Oh, he's in the honorable. He's in the honorable mentions. We don't have time for him.
Yeah, we don't have time for him. Uh, okay. So Rodriguez, I say Mets, you say Padres. Whit Merrifield. Uh,
I think he stays with the Jays.
you think he stays with the Jays? I think he goes to the Twins.
Valid.
All right.
Stroman is another one of my Cardinals picks. Marcus Stroman.
Stroman, I hate to break it to you, but I think he stays with the Cubs. It would be stupid for the
Oh,
Cubs to not bring him back.
it would break my heart, but you're right.
All
As
right.
for Candelario, another Cubs player, I think he stays with the Cubs.
And I think he goes to Blue Jays.
Exact opposites. Jack Flaherty, former Cardinal. Believe it or not, you're gonna be surprised when I'm a guest for this one.
All right.
I think Flaherty goes to the Pirates.
That would be a fair assessment. However, I already said Nola was going to the Pirates due to massive amounts of copium. So he's going to the Nationals. You are
Makes sense.
you
Makes
get
sense.
you get to be sentenced to 4 months in Washington. If you play good, then you can go to a playoff contending team. I don't care.
I think that Renfro is probably going. I think Hunter Renfro is probably going to the Guardians.
I think I think he'll go. I think he'll go to the Pirates, and if we end up not being that good next year again, first off, I'm gonna tear my fucking ass off, and B, we could trade him for more pockets of beans. Let's go! All right, and then
Next up, 25. Yeah, Harrison Bader, who is the last one we'll probably go over, given our time constraint.
Giants.
Harrison Bader. Yeah, no, that's fair. I wrote different for him though. I wrote Nationals.
That's fair assessment. All right,
I don't
well,
think I don't think he really fits on the other candidates. This is my reasoning.
that is fair. The only reason why I wouldn't put him on the Nationals is because he'll probably end up getting traded to someplace else when one of their many outfield prospects are ready.
Yeah. And I know I said we weren't going to go over the honorable mentions, but since I already mentioned Luis Severino, I think he is going to the Nationals like Taijuan Walker did last year.
I think Luis Severino's going to Japan.
Yeah, he needs to take a year or two in Yokohama before he can play in the major league again. Like this year was probably one of his most disgraceful years in his fucking career.
All right, I feel like
And I love shitting on the Yankees, and Severino just makes it so easy.
yeah, I feel like we're missing one other person, but no, he's probably just in the honorable mention. He's fine. But that's
Who?
gonna. I can't think of the name.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But that's
Maybe someone will point it out in the comments. Who
maybe
knows?
someone will point it out in the comments. But that's gonna wrap up this episode of SCS Baseball. Uh, Next time we record, because I don't think we have to record next week, because it's the
Nope,
off season.
we're in off-season schedule, so it's gonna be bi-weekly now.
Bi-weekly, let's go. So yeah, get on the ball with SCS Baseball. We'll see you in 2 weeks or more, depends on what happens.
Home run derby coming when we feel like it.
Yeah.
What's a girl to do? Lying on my